It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Joining us now is Congresswoman Claudia Tenney from the great state of New York. And Congresswoman, boy, there's a lot to talk with you about. First, let's get to this case of another illegal migrant committing a heinous crime. The guy who was busted in Queens, New York. Thank goodness for the vigilantes, for the Good Samaritans who held him down because they recognized him because of his tattoo. Your thoughts about just the dangers of now what is crossing our borders? They can't vet them. They can't check them.
You know, Marita, this is a terrible tragedy that's being perpetrated against the American people by Joe Biden's inability or unwillingness, actually by design, not to enforce our border. And I've been sounding the alarm on the northern border since last year when I ended up getting a new district with the entire New York border, pretty much almost all of it, that's along my district in New York 24 by Lake Ontario, way up in the North Country, all the way over to the Niagara border. This is a real problem because of New York's laws. The cartels are controlling the northern border as well. And some of the really alarming statistics, 85% of the people on the terror watch list are actually coming across the northern border. The cartels know they can take advantage of New York's very lax criminal justice laws that are also hurting us with criminals that we have that are American citizens. So it's even worse when we know these illegal immigrants come in. They get a license, a valid New York driver's license. They are also given special protections under the what's so-called green light law. This was all passed under Governor Cuomo in 2019. And in addition, there is a special detainer law where New York police or of any kind, whether it's NYPD or others, cannot retain or detain anyone, even if they're a criminal alien, for up to 24 hours or 48 hours until they get an ICE agent. That's exactly how Laken Riley was killed. The New York Police Department was required to let this guy go. They suspected he had roots that were criminal. They suspected he had ties to a gang. They let him go, and he ended up killing Laken Riley in Georgia, and he had probably a valid New York driver's license. Sadly, Rita, this is going to be the order of the day. We're going to see more and more Americans feeling threatened by having these people in our communities. I'm not saying, look, we've got a lot of good people that are legal refugees who have come to our country. My grandparents came here to this country. You know, they sat in quarantine in Ellis Island, though, by the way, to make sure they didn't have any communicable diseases before they were even allowed to enter. They didn't get any services. They took minimum wage jobs in order to work. And so I'm just saying we have got to really be careful. This criminal justice system laws in New York are really causing harm to New Yorkers. And then allowing these people to be released with a valid license, they can go anywhere. And this makes New York truly a border state when we are giving, special privileges to illegal immigrants.
Yeah, before we let you go, also, Biden announcing the speeding up of the residency for 500,000 migrants, making it easier. Your thoughts on what is the objective
Are
here?
they giving them voter registration cards at the same time?
Probably.
Hi, Mr. Katz. How you doing?
Good.
Always great to be on with you guys. Well, of course, this is part of the design. I used to think it was cynical to say the Democrats are opening our border to get voters in, but we found evidence that it's not necessarily cynical. It might actually be true and is likely true. But the problem is, think of the people, and there are millions of them, who want to come to this country legally. They're being put in the back of a line from people who broke our law to get here in the first place. So this is a real problem. And when we have no rule of law, we have no order, we have no decency to really recognize people who want to come here to live the American dream and to actually live up to our laws, the very, very careful way our Constitution was worded to protect individual rights, to protect freedom, and to encourage self-governance. We have to be self-governing, but to have a lawless society, we aren't going to be able to do that. That's what the Democrats are doing. Now, to Mr. Katz's question, the Democrats are actually trying to register illegal immigrants, and they're not registering them so they could go to the polls. They're registering them so that they can get their ballots and have them cast. Once they're in the ballot box, you can't take them out, and you can't prove if it was an illegal immigrant for a valid citizen. And that's the problem. And if these get distributed in the swing states where this race in 2020, the presidential race, was decided by less than 44,000 votes in 3 swing states, you could see this being a catastrophic move. So no matter how good the policies might be of President Trump, no matter how good a campaign he runs, the Democrats are going to try to steal this by undermining our process again. And they are even smarter about this because President Biden, again, used an executive order to task our agencies and third-party Democrat-leaning groups like Demos and others under the guidance of Susan Rice, the former Biden or Obama administration official, to get these ballots in the box to ensure that Joe Biden, the Democrat, wins no matter what. It's really dangerous and it's scary, and you're right to be skeptical, Mr. Katz, absolutely.
Thank you so much. Claudia, keep fighting.
Long Island is more exciting than ever at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel. Get ready to zoom into some serious cash with Zoom Ball every Wednesday in June. Win up to $500,000. 1 point equals 1 entry. 2 lucky winners will be drawn at the top of every hour from 1 to 5 p.m. to play Zoom Ball. Discover the excitement at Jake's 58 Casino Hotel.
If gambling is a problem for you or someone, please call the 24-hour toll-free helpline at 877-8-HOPE-NY or text NY.